Hey, everybody. Welcome to Paynesville Live. Welcome, Mary Holmberg.
Thank you. Welcome, Janell Bullard.
Thank you much. So a couple things we're going to chit-chat about tonight. So we're going to do a little bit of celebration of I Love to Read Month, and we're going to talk a little bit about our culture and climate meeting that's coming up next week. So I highlighted this a couple weeks ago at a board meeting just to kind of let people know about some of the work that's been happening to understand our students' experience at school and to understand kind of what it's like to be a student at the Paynesville Area Schools. So I thought it was kind of important to just spend a minute because I think sometimes we use the words culture and climate interchangeably. So I wanted to take just a second to just kind of define what they are. And then as people are thinking about like, oh, yeah, so this is when I was a student at school, here's what the culture was. Or when I was a student, this was the climate. So culture is kind of like the beliefs, the values, the norms. It's like the routines and traditions. So I think about when I was in high school, we had the drive the tractor to school day. That was one of the traditions, right? That was part of the culture of the school.
Sure.
And then the climate is it changes. It changes based on kind of what's going on. So it's like the feel, it's the atmosphere, and that can evolve and change. So one of the things that when we talk about the culture and the climate and we learn about what our students experience, it's about understanding how every student experiences our school, whether you were a new student to the school district, if you are born here, your grandparents were here, everybody.
Sure. A different experience.
Yeah. So really trying to understand and having kind of that mutual experience and that shared learning. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about, and I'm kind of excited about that because it's going to be good to hear how people experience our school. And then as we move into I Love to Read Month, I got to segue for just a second because in the newspaper, kind of 2 weeks ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, I had just written a little article and talked about one of the things that I really enjoy about I Love to Read Month is when I would read stories to my kids and have an opportunity to like take them to a whole different experience. And it was like taking a vacation and you could just learn about something totally outside of what you would experience here. And so I'm excited to hear what some of our students experienced during I Love to Read Month so far at the elementary. So take it away.
Perfect. Thank you. So we started I Love to Read Month on February 1st, and author Kevin Lovegreen came and visited and did a presentation with all of our kiddos in grades K through 5. You'll see him on the screen right now. Mr. Lovegreen is a Minnesota native, so that made his presentation really cool. Yeah. He did share excerpts from his book. He talked about his personal experiences and how those personal experiences became his stories and the novels that he's written. He also shared how he created different duck calls and different things like that, and how wandering through the woods he'd find the deer horns, and then antlers. He'd use them the deer antlers, and he'd use them as rattlers to call in the deer in his personal stories, and in Montana and Minnesota or wherever he's been. And the kids had a chance to listen to those sounds, and then he'd challenge them to, well, what animal do you think that was? And then magically he was able to make the animal in a personal picture appear behind him. So it was just that really bringing to life a living experience and then putting that on paper.
I bet the kids were just engaged.
They were engaged the whole time. Oh, and that says a lot from our 5-year-olds through our, 11-year-olds.
Absolutely.
It didn't matter the level. Yeah. They were engaged. And he intertwined the writing process so kids knew what it was like to come up with an idea, to draft, to write, to edit, to publish, and the role of the illustrator in bringing those experiences on paper to life. So he did a fantastic job. We were so glad that he was here. We picked up last week with Stop, Drop, and Read. So one time each day, we announced over the loudspeaker that it's time to stop, drop, and read. And then everybody in the whole building did that. We stopped what we were doing. We dropped to the ground and we read a book. So kids were taking their books with them to Phi-Ed. They were taking them with, to the media center and to all the different places that they were going.
Did staff get to do Stop, Drop, and Read too?
Staff got to do Stop, Drop, and Read too.
Hot diggity.
So it's a pretty cool experience when you talk about the climate in a building when you know everybody's reading.
Yeah.
This week we had family groups today, and part of the family groups was reading a story called Jack's Talent. And it's a story about a little boy who doesn't feel like he has any talents, and his classmates and his teacher help him discover that he does really have a talent. So it's just a heartwarming kind of story where kids were able to then identify their talents, and the members in their family got to share, well, hey, you really like fire trucks. You could be a firefighter. Or, hey, you like to draw. You could be an illustrator, like in Kevin Lovegreen's books. It was just fantastic, a good feeling. And those groups ended, if there was time, with our 5th grade, the eldest in the family, reading a story to the rest of their family. So
sweet.
It's just a great thing. And you're seeing pictures now from I Love to Read Month, where a lot of the classrooms had mystery readers come in. So parents, families, neighbors were invited to sign up and come on in and read their favorite story. You'll see Officer Tony Lapatka there. He's our school resource officer. He came in and was a mystery reader. We had high school kiddos coming over that are family members.
Fun.
Just the coolest thing. And we have some surprise mystery readers next week where one of our kindergarten classes, the whole class is practicing reading a book, so the individual books, so they can be mystery readers for another classroom. Shh. I know, don't tell. The word is out.
All right.
Next week, we have our 1st grade program called Cookies. Cool. Miss Strand is working really hard with our 1st grade friends.
Awesome.
And in classrooms, we're going to be reading a story and then watching a video that goes with it for I Love to Read Month. And then we end the week by coming over to the PAC Center. So February 25th and February 28th, our kids will be rotating through stations, kind of as a wrap-up to I Love to Read Month, and also to be our PBIS celebration. So the kids have done just a fantastic job with being mindful, connected, and respectful. And this is one great way to reward them with some of the on-site facilities that we have within our grasp. So it's going to be fantastic.
Well, thanks for sharing. I'm excited to hear about all of the cool adventures that our littles, and our 5th graders aren't so little, but our littles, they got to experience during the month. So thanks for sharing.
Absolutely.
And thanks for joining us, everybody, and take care, and we'll see you again next time.
Thank you.